What's going on, guys? Today we're going to be talking about how to invest and set yourself up in your 20s to be wealthy in your 30s. Now, I am 24 and be turning 25 in like 3 weeks, but I have set myself up from the age of 20 to 23 so that I could actually retire. There's the big word, retire, at the age of 24. So the way I've been able to do this was through creating cash flow producing assets. Now, assets can be many things. They can be a skill, they can be a business, they can be a property that you rent out and exchange money for. They can be a job, believe it or not, as an asset, having a job that you go ahead and exchange your time for money, an asset. There's all sorts of different assets that you can have on the world. I'm going to be talking about the assets that I recommend that you set up in your 20s so that you can create low effort, if not passive income in your 30s. Now, personally, I've chosen things that are back-end business models, meaning all the work goes in on the front end, and then you have the back end, and you still put effort in, but it's a lot less effort than you had on the front end, and it's a lifetime producing cash flow asset. Two assets I've invested in are businesses and skills. And you might not off the top of your head think, wow, yeah, a skill is an asset, but it really is. For me, the skill of trading allows me to use my skill anywhere in the world at any time to produce, hopefully, cash flow for myself, right? At any time, if I have the time, I can hop onto my computer, do stock analysis, and with enough time put into it and enough patience, money will flow from that. That's an asset. That's a skill which has become an asset for me. Now, on the front end, it actually took a while to learn this asset because trading has such a steep learning curve. Now, like I like to say, where there's risk, there's reward. And so if you put yourself in a position like trading, like learning how to trade, like persevering through losses to get to profitability, a situation like that is risk. And not many people are willing to go there. And therefore, it's more reward when you come out the other side. So that's what I've chosen to do for myself, go to the extreme, develop a skill that's able to produce me a relatively high rate of cash flow on even a decent amount of money. I have 100K in the market and typically produce about $10,000 to $15,000 in cash flow per month from that on average. So if you have never traded, then I would absolutely suggest at least trying to learn how to trade, starting from the beginning, starting from scratch. The first step I like to say is $100 in your account, and obviously you won't be able to generate a ton of cash flow from the $100, but it is a place to start and it is a place to scale up from. And so trading is the kind of skill that, just like I said, it's a front-end model. So you're going to put in all the time and the effort up front. You're going to potentially persevere through losses. You're going to work with someone, hopefully, and you're going to work to become profitable. And then on the back end, once you learn it, it's just something that you have. It's a skill that you have for the rest of your life, hopefully, unless you get worse at it or the stock market closes indefinitely. There's always extenuating circumstances, like your house burns down, right? But hopefully, that's an asset that you have for the rest of your life. You can then sit down and anywhere in the world produce cash flow from Wi-Fi. So when you're weighing the risk to return rate of an asset, of a skill, you want to look at how much money is it requiring from you and what is the rate of production of money, right? So personally, it's 100,000 of my money in the stock market. Now that's a relatively low dollar amount compared to all the other assets that I'm invested in, but for this relatively low amount of money in the stock market, it produces me $10,000 to $15,000 in monthly income, right? So that's a very high producing asset. Like I said, where there's risk, there's also a reward. So with the perseverance, with the feeling that it might not be possible, with the all the doubt out there that trading might not actually work, getting past that, you come out on the other end because not many people are actually willing to go there, right? So things like this are always in equilibrium, right? Where there's fewer people, there's a larger share for each person. Now on the business side, another thing I'd recommend doing is just setting up a business for yourself, right? Everyone can have a business, whether it's a zero cash flow business or a million a month cash flow business. And the reason I'm saying you can have a zero cash flow business and have it still be a good asset for you is that it's a placeholder, right? It's just something that you're claiming digital real estate. When I say digital real estate, I'm talking about online businesses. Now, I think it's so important for every single person nowadays, especially in their 20s, in their teens, even in their 30s, to have an Instagram profile. This might sound so stupid, but when you meet someone for the first time out in public and you want to go talk to this person or learn more about this person or reach out to this person, where is the first place you go? Think about it. Unless you get their phone number, it's Instagram. And you can learn a lot more about a person from Instagram without having them know than through their phone number, right? So having an Instagram profile that is professional, that is appealing, that makes a good first impression is so essential, especially if you're going to be selling a skill-based business, right? So I think everyone out there, Every single person out there has a skill that they're able to share and monetize. No matter what kind of background you come from, no matter what skill set you were brought up with, no matter what you do for a living, every single person has something that others are willing to pay them to learn. This is something I truly believe. Now, whether or not you monetize that right away, it doesn't really matter. You can monetize it in the future, but having a good base for potential monetization of that is having, just like I said, a good Instagram profile. Instagram has the most traffic of any platform, I think maybe besides YouTube, in the entire world. So you want to put your business, what makes the most sense? Somewhere where most people are going to be. Now, getting back to the whole premise of this video, the assets, this is an asset that I've created for myself. I've spent time, money, and energy developing a good Instagram profile, both on the personal side and on the business side, so that I can work with more people, because more people find me appealing and more people find me in general. Same thing with this YouTube channel. I'm here giving you guys value so that you can see who I am. And if you want to work with me on something, then I'm right here. So if I'm recommending to you another asset for you to invest your time in, and not even money, this costs $0, keep in mind. I think it's so important for every single person to develop their online presence, especially on Instagram. And a couple of years ago, you definitely would have called me crazy. You might even be saying, hey Ben, that's kind of ridiculous right now. But I think it's so true, and I think in a couple of years, then it's going to be a mandatory thing. Everyone has a presentable Instagram profile, or you're sketchy, right? If you go on Instagram, a lot of people, and you can't find someone, odds are you might think they're sketchy, whether or not they're actually sketchy or not. You just want to put the right impression in people's heads. So these are the two main areas. Personally, that was my path, and I'm suggesting that any new person do. I think the business one is a lot easier to do if you don't have much capital, because theoretically you could launch your online business for less than $500. All you need is some web apps and platforms. If you want to follow HighStrike Startup, that's my Instagram page where I actually teach people how to do this for free on the platform. We also do have a course if you're interested in that. Not here to push that, but definitely give that a follow if you're interested in building an online course or an online course-based business. And again, this can be done for relatively cheap. You really don't need a lot of startup money for this because you already have the skill most likely, and you're just going to be selling your skill to people. Another example of this is someone that I work very close with, Cam, who is very good at making video content and making visual content. Right, so he's not necessarily selling his skill, he's selling his services. And I think everyone has either a skill or a service, if not both. And it's gonna be so much easier to sell your service or your skill if you have a nice, presentable Instagram profile. And of course, there's tons of other ways to invest your time, money, and effort. Trading as a skill and businesses as an online presence, online real estate are not the only two assets out there. There's real estate, there's stocks, all things that could pay you potentially even more passively. But I think the two highest rate of return assets are the skill of trading and the online presence of an online business. If you got any value out of this video, please toss it a thumbs up for the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, because we're talking about everything trading and everything online business on this YouTube channel. I'll see you guys in the next video.